You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach. And I had a very interesting conversation a few days ago with a really good friend of mine by the name of Tiffany. And we were talking about background, situations, upbringing, and the way we were reared. And we started breaking things down along racial lines, socioeconomic lines, demographics, location. And we stumbled upon something that I was doing at the time, which I was eating some chicken wings from Publix. And she said, "My man, ain't no more meat on that bone." I said, "This is the only way I know how to finish it." I said, "Some people I know take 2 bites on the drumstick and drop it down, or just bite the flat and then leave it alone." I said, when I was coming along, if you finish the chicken like that, you got a spanking. Or if you try to throw it away, they make you pull it out of the garbage can and finish it and eat it. And I said, I'm amazed when I look at some of these younger kids eat chicken wings and they leave so much meat on the bone. She said they do that because they didn't have to do it. She said when we were coming along, the food wasn't as plentiful as it is right now, and they just don't have to. And I did a Coffee with Rhadi the other day when I talked about doing some things that you don't want to do and then doing them anyway. And then there's a situation where you were raised a certain way, or you grew up a certain way, so you did things a certain way. But now you're like me. You have kids, you have nephews, you have nieces, you have people that you coach, you have people that you influence. And instead of teaching them the way that you did things, you allow them to do things sometimes in this new way. And sometimes you hurt them from learning the things that they need to learn from the process. Meaning, when we do math, we don't just teach people how to do math and give them a calculator. We let them do math in the long form. And then when they learn math and they learn how to do the math, then they can use the calculator. Why? Because they need to learn the process of logic through math. We don't just have people utilize the phone and the tablet when they're in elementary school, when they have to write. We make them write out the words so there's no autocorrect or auto spell. Why? Because they need to learn how to increase their vocabulary, how to spell a word, to understand the homophones, and how if you need to use an F or a PH, or you need to learn these particular things. You need to learn these things, but you can't learn them if you shortcut them. Now, when it comes to the things that we learned when we were growing up, we sometimes feel like we shouldn't bring that level of discomfort on our children, on the people that we coach, because there's an easier way, or a newer way, or a better way. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When you have to get something done that's difficult, there's only one way. And the one way is the right way. And if you don't know what the right way is, you go to the exemplars that went before you, or I say it like they said in the Bible. You go to the elders of the church. Now understand this. Anytime when you're learning, that the doors of the church are open at that time. So when you're learning something that you have in church, You need to go to the elders of the church. You need to go to the old school dude sitting underneath the shade tree playing checkers, the one you call OG or Unc, and you need to get the information from him. You need to go to the elders inside the church, the elders in life. Like the people before you, they know the way. A lot of people like to say there are many ways. I remember listening to Oprah one time. She said, there are many ways. Oh, no. There's not many ways. There's one way. And the one way is the right way. There's also a right way to eat chicken. There's a right way to eat ribs. There's a right way to eat crab legs. There's a right way to cross the street. There's a right way to drive. There's a right way to greet people when you walk in the door. There's a right way. And if you shortcut, all right, you shortcut. Like when people walk in the door of my dojo and their kids they don't want to say good evening, and I say you have to say good evening. Or so and so's a little shy. I don't give a shit what they are. You go outside. When you walk into somebody's house, you say good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, period. If you can't say that, if you can say baba, if you can say lollipop, milk, if you can say I'm hungry, if you can say all the rest of that stuff, if you can yell and scream at Busch Gardens and Disney World, you can say good evening. And if you can't, then at my place, you got to stand outside because there's only one way, and it's the right way. As you go through today, as you go through this weekend, as you go through life, whatever you do, make sure you do it the right way. This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson. Have a super fantastic day. Have a great evening. Remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And make sure you boogie on over to www.coffeewithrhadi.com and get the book Coffee with Rhadi today. You'll be glad that you did. Take care.